Where does life on Earth in all its complexity and diversity come from? In our previous video, we saw that natural selection itself, all by itself, cannot achieve new novelty, cannot bring about invention, because it only selects what's already been created, what's already been invented. So this is what gets us to the subject of mutation. Now, there are two types of mutation that we can talk about. First, we're talking about the subject of macroevolution. This is large-scale change. And then there's micromutation. This is small change, variation really. For example, here I have my buddy Charlie. We see lots of variation within dogs, but they're always dogs. This is an example of microevolution. Now, thanks Charlie. Some say that changes within dog types, for example, this example of microevolution, is actually evidence for macroevolution. Makes sense, right? If you add up enough small changes over a long period of time, eventually you'll achieve big change, right? Yeah, makes sense, right, Chuck? Well, if Neo-Darwinism actually works, it has to work this way, because large-scale changes, macromutations, actually either degrade or become sterile. In other words, macromutations won't work in Neo-Darwinism because they will downgrade the organism, not upgrade the organism. If it downgrades, it loses fitness, it'll die out. So we see that this has to happen with micromutations, variations, adding upon variations over a long period of time. Now, of course, this will take longer. If you're trying to walk across a basketball court, but you can only take 1-inch steps, it's going to take a lot more steps than previously. So we see this is going to take a lot of time. As explained by philosopher of science Stephen C. Meyer, Darwin conceded that the beneficial variations responsible for permanent change in species are both rare and modest. Major variations in forms which later evolutionary biologists would term macromutations inevitably produce deformity and death. Only minor variations meet the test of viability and inheritability. Therefore, only and only microevolution can make macroevolution possible. The question is, knowing this would take a lot of steps, can we find this in the fossil record? It's taken a long time, a lot of steps. We should find this progression in the fossil record. So are we going to find progression of life to all its diversity, including Charlie, in the fossil record? Find out next on this channel.